everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a new filament manufacturer that's really doing some cool things. Their name is Inslogic, and you may have seen them out there, or you may not have seen them out there. They're pretty new to the game and everything, but they're doing two things that I think you will definitely think are cool, as I thought they were really cool. One thing I haven't really seen any other filament manufacturer doing. You may have. Leave in the comments if you have seen another manufacturer doing one of the things that we'll talk about. And the other thing, I've only seen one other filament manufacturer doing in there. And I think it's cool that we see another manufacturer doing some of the similar things that we see from the others. So in today's video, we'll be going over matte PLA, PLA Pro, and ASA filaments from Inslogic, but I also have a roll of their TPU 95A. Be sure to stay till the end of the video and I'll tell you how you can win this very roll of TPU filament from Inslogic. So if all that sounds good, then sit back and relax and I'll get everything ready. All right, so here we are on Inslogic's website, and let's go over the two things that I think make them pretty special. One thing other people are doing, another thing I haven't seen that out there, doesn't mean it's not being done. I just haven't seen it just yet. So let's just take a look at the PLA Pro. They have a few colors available, and let's talk about the first thing that I think makes them interesting and why you should pay attention is they also have a refill system. So we've seen this with Bamboo Lab and their filaments and refills and everything like that. And it's cool to see another manufacturer doing the same thing. And they do send you an ABS printed roll with the spool, but you can also do the refill or a spool with two refill rolls in there or things like that. So it does look like they're still getting up and going here with pre-orders and everything like that. I would give them a shot. This is the first piece that I think is super cool, is they're doing refills like other people that so I think that's really, really cool. Instead of going green and doing the stupid cardboard rolls, which I think we all kind of hate, the cardboard rolls, just give us these refills if you want to do the green initiative or whatever like that. I think it's a much better thing to do. So now let's talk about the second thing that I think makes them worth looking at. Filament color on demand. Customize your Inslogic filament with our color on demand. Provide the Pantone or hex color code in the form below, and you can order any color of this filament. So how cool is that? And they do offer bulk pricing for 20 rolls or more for right now. I would imagine that we'll see that change pretty soon. They do some bulk stuff with their resin filament stuff as well. But I thought this was really cool, and I haven't really seen anybody do this piece. If you've seen other filament manufacturers doing this, let me know. But this is the first time that I've come across a filament color on demand. So if you're trying to do a print or match a color of like a part or replace something and you need a specific color, being able to just put in your Pantone or your hex color code in the form below and order a roll of filament in that exact color, I think is pretty game changing. I think this is really, really cool and something that I'm going to do and try out and see how this does. But I think these are the two things that really make it worth paying attention to what Inslogic is doing. The refills, as well as you can basically get any color of filament that you want from them. All right, so I'm going to throw the rolls in the filament dryer and get them dried up, and then we'll go ahead and do a deep dive into the three rolls that we'll be testing today. All right, so here we are back taking a look at the PLA Pro. So what makes their PLA Pro so special? So let's take a look at that before we start printing with it, and we'll take a look at some of the really cool pictures. Does look like some really nice prints that come out of here. So up to 300 millimeters per second. So for high speed prints like the bamboo printers can do, and it shows some multicolor printing there. And then we've already talked about the refill stuff. So one of the things that they say with improved mechanical properties, the PLA Pro has a high tensile strength and excellent impact strength, similar to ABS, according to them, of course. PLA Pro can be printed at lower melting temperatures, and its low warping makes it incredibly easy to print. So that would be good, right? If it's as strong and has the same mechanical properties or close to ABS, but you can print it out of PLA, that is definitely something to think about. Just because it's easier to print PLA than anything else, in my opinion. And it does say it is compatible with the Bamboo Lab AMS, and I guess this is supposed to be the AMS Lite for the A1 Mini. So why choose Inslogic PLA Pro Filament? I think easy to print, strength and durability, which they talked about, better layer adhesion, no heated bed required, biodegradable and eco-friendly, and it can print at high speeds. So let's go ahead and get this out of the dryer, and we'll go ahead and print with it and see how it does. All right, so here we are on the print settings for the PLA Pro. 50C for at least 4 hours. Looks like most of the nozzles can be used with it. And here are the printing temperatures and recommended speeds. So it does look like if you do increase the speed of the print here, it does want you to increase the temperature of the nozzle, which makes sense. So make sure when you're setting this up that you set that up for that. I believe a portion of our prints will be over 100 millimeters per second just on the normal phase. So we'll start it out at the 205 for that. Here's our bed temperature, cooling fan speed, and the different plates that it will work on. So let's go ahead and make sure that Bamboo Studio has all of these settings, and we'll go ahead and get started printing. All right, here we are in Bamboo Studio, and we have our benchy loaded as we normally do to test out our filaments, but today I thought we would switch it up and use the A1 Mini instead of the X1C. So we'll be doing all the tests on the A1 Mini. So you'll see I have a generic PLA loaded here in slot 1, and that is the Inslogic PLA Pro. So let's go ahead and open this up and make sure all of the settings match what we need our temperatures to be. So the nozzle range between 190 and 240 is within that range at 205 to 220. The nozzle is set at 220, which is at the upper range of what it recommends, so we'll leave it there. And we'll be using the PEI plate for it today, and it does say 65 here, and it recommends 50 to 60, so we will change this down to 60 and keep it within the parameters. It also says to make sure that the cooling is set to 100, so we'll also do that. And now that we have all of that saved, we can also boost the volumetric speed to 20 to get it closer to the Bamboo filament and closer to the speeds that it said on the website that it could handle. So let's go ahead and hit the save button here, and we'll call this the Inslogic PLA Pro, and this is for the A1 Mini. So we'll go ahead and hit OK on there, and we have everything set up for that. So let's go ahead and slice this. It is warning us about the overhangs, so we'll see how it handles those overhangs there. And it says it'll be done in about an hour and a half. So I'll see you when it gets done. All right, so here is the benchy all printed out. And as you can see, it printed perfect. There's nothing on the overhangs here, nothing on this overhang or the circle or on the top. This looks perfect. Everything turned out perfect. So just by putting in their normal settings, which were really close to the generic settings, it printed really, really good. So now let's take a look at the PLA matte. All right, so now let's take a look at the matte PLA filament that they have, and a few colors as well. But do remember this one does offer the any color stuff as well, or the color on demand as they call it. So these are really cool matte finish. So let's see why they say that you should use this. It is compatible with the AMS and the A1 or AMS Lite. Less warping, easy to print, biodegradable, better layer adhesion, no heated bed required, less nozzle clogging. I don't know how they figured that out, but we'll see if it clogs up while we do it. And it's odorless as well. And you see the manufacturing services. So it looks like similar to the PLA Pro, except they're not claiming the same durability as that or being similar to AMS. They're just saying it's tougher and more durable there. So let's go ahead and get it out of the dryer and we'll print with it and see how it does. All right. And for the print settings for the matte PLA, it does recommend drying it for at least 4 hours at 50°C. These are the nozzle sizes that it recommends. And this is the temperatures and printing speed that we'll go ahead and make sure are in Bamboo Studio right now. So let's jump into Bamboo Studio and make sure that these settings are all within what they recommend. All right, so here we are back in Bamboo Studio, and I went ahead and loaded the PLA matte in slot 3 here. So you'll see that it says generic PLA, so we'll need to set that up. And we'll need to adjust the settings. Did seem to want to run a little bit hotter with the PLA matte than it did with the PLA Pro. So the nozzle range here is within its range, but the minimum is 215 and the max is 245. And the faster you're printing, the higher the temperature is that you want. We'll leave it at 220 since it's within that range and it's a little bit on the hotter side. And then we'll take a look at our texture plate. We do need to change that to 60 for the max that it says for the bed temperature, which is 60. So we'll go ahead and change that. Now let's go ahead and make sure that our fan speeds are at 100 as it recommends. And with all of that set, let's go ahead and save it. And this is going to be the Inslogic PLA Matte A1 Mini. So we'll go ahead and save that. And now we'll go ahead and make sure that we press number 3 and get the PLA matte. We'll go ahead and the other thing that we want to change is the max volumetric speed. Move that up to 20 like we did with the other one. And we'll go ahead and save that as a user preset. Now that's saved in there. We'll go ahead and slice the plate. It's giving us the warning about the overhang, so we'll see how that does. And it's going to take about 1.5 hours. So I'll see you when it gets done. All right, so here we are with the PLA matte. And we will see that it handled the overhangs just like the Pro. No stringing or anything like that. Followed all of the same settings. The only thing is they do look very, very similar to each other. Even though there are two different filaments printed at slightly different temperatures and settings and everything, they do look, or actually I think they were printed at the same settings. So they do look very, very similar to each other after they're printed. So let's go ahead and take a look at the ASA. All right, so here we are on the website for their ASA filament, and you will notice that it does have a different color filament roll or spool with it here. Same options as the other ones, so let's see why they say you should choose the ASA filament. UV and weather resistant, which as we found with other ASA filaments, this is one of the big things with the ASA and why you might want to use ASA over ABS. Low warping, so these higher temperature, filaments like ABS and ASA, they are susceptible to warping. Again, better layer adhesion, as they've stated with their other filaments, improved mechanical properties and strength, high precision with fine detail, and heat resistance, which is something that we have found with ASA in the past. And as we've seen in other videos, well-ventilated room. For strong adhesion and successful print, it is recommended to use an adhesive on your build plate as a protective layer. For larger prints, we recommend 3D printing in a heated chamber. So let's go ahead and get ready and get this out of the dryer and start printing with some ASA. And for the recommended settings for ASA, we're going to have drying at 80°C or above for 4 hours. Looks like you can use most nozzles, even the 0.2. Really, really high temperatures, and especially if you're printing at the higher speeds, really high temperature for the bed plate. Here are the different beds that it recommends. So the smooth PEI sheet or the high temperature plate. And it's recommended to use glue with this. So we will check that out as well. All right, so even though it says that it's compatible with the A1 Mini, it is not recommended to use ASA in the A1 Mini. Even if you look at some of the build plates or whatever, when it's specifying things for ASA or ABS, it says not for A1 Mini. So we'll be running the ASA through the X1C, and I have it loaded in slot 2 here. So again, we'll go with the right temperature settings and everything. So let's open up the generic and see what it's at. So 240 to 280 is pretty close to the recommended settings. 260 is at the low end of what it recommended to print with. So we will keep it at that setting there. It does recommend to go with the smooth plate or the high temp plate, and between 80 and 100°C, so we'll leave that at 90. We'll leave the volumetric speed alone on this one, and then for the cooling we need to be at 100% as well, according to this. So now that all of the changes have been made, let's go ahead and hit the save button and call this Inslogic ASA X1C. We'll save that as a user preset. And now we will select number 2 on the keypad to make sure that this is the ASA filament. We need to change this to the high temperature plate. We'll go ahead and slice it. It is giving us a warning again. We'll see how it handles that. In an hour and 20 minutes, it should be done. So I'll see you when it gets done. All right, so here is the ASA, and same thing, it printed perfectly, handled the overhangs just fine on everything. It does look slightly different than these, even though it's the black. That is funny, but it is cool to know that the color code is the exact same on all of them. All right, so it printed just as we would expect it to print, and nothing crazy happened or anything like that. So now let's go take a look at the TPU. All right, so here we are on the website for the TPU, and we won't actually be printing with this today. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for that. You will have a chance to win a brand new roll of this TPU in black, just like it's shown here. I haven't opened it or anything like that. So on January 25th, 2025, during my live stream at 8 p.m. Mountain Time here in the US, whoever's print of the weekend or whatever is voted the best will win this roll of TPU. So if you want to try out a brand new roll of TPU that's still on pre-order, then join us on January 25th for my live stream where we share pictures of everybody's prints, and whoever's print is voted the coolest or the best will win this roll of filament. So let's go ahead and take a look at it the rest of the way. So they will eventually have refills for it. Only have 2 colors, but I believe they do the color on demand, so you can get any color of this that you want. Key features: strong layer bonding, good flexibility with the rubber-like texture, which is what we would expect from TPU. High resistance to abrasion, wear, and tear. Again, things that we would expect from TPU. Chemical resistance. Maximum elongation of 536%. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. You guys will have to tell me. So let's go ahead and take a look at the print settings. Does recommend to be dried at 50°C for 4 hours. Does show the 0.2 and the nozzle on here as well. For different speeds of printing, there's different temperatures. The higher the speed, the higher the temperature. So for the bamboo ones, you probably want to run in this higher range here. Bed temperature 50 to 60, and the fan speed is 70%. And it does show the textured PEI plate or the cool plate. And then does it say, yeah, it does say the AMS and A1 Mini. I believe TPU is capable through the A1 Mini, but I believe you need to use the external spool in order to do that. All right, so that's going to do it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I think Inslogic is definitely a filament company that we all need to pay attention to. I really like that they're doing refills, and I really like the custom color capability. Instead of just having a whole bunch of colors to choose from, you can kind of choose your own colors and everything like that. So be sure that you give them a shot whenever they get done with pre-orders and start launching everything. I think this will be a great filament company for us to work with in the future. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss my next video, and make sure you join us on January 25th for a giveaway of this new Inslogic TPU. Thanks for watching, everybody.